Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new video today. Today we're going to be talking about the decline of Gearbox and the byproduct of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and the critical state that it's in. Now, just to clarify, even though that this is called the decline of Gearbox, I actually rather enjoy Gearbox and their products, and I do really enjoy Borderlands as a whole. So this is just what I'm seeing as of late, not a entire witch hunt kind of video. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, I just wanted to say a huge thank you for everybody who is watching. And also, if you like these types of videos or other things that I post, feel free to like, comment, and sub. It actually goes a long way for me. So let's go ahead and talk about the community feedback. Wonderlands is actually, if you can believe it, a byproduct of a lot of community feedback throughout the years. We've also seen this throughout the duration of Borderlands 3, and it's continued into Tiny Tina's Wonderlands now. So what I mean by that is, back in the day, a lot of people wanted a Diablo-style system. A lot of people wanted to see Destiny-style systems in future Borderlands games, and also back in Borderlands 3 when we had them. So I know a lot of people mentioned Greater Rift system, which is the Diablo system, takedowns that are kind of Destiny quality, things like that. Now, we are getting those in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. However, we are getting a budget-style version of it. We're getting a knockoff version of what was requested. Where those ideas aren't, like, the worst ideas, I don't think they work in Borderlands personally. However, getting a budget-style version of them, a knockoff version, is definitely not the way that's going to translate well in the future of the games. Now, a lot of these examples are going to be how Guardian Takedown was received. Guardian Takedown was received as a whole very, very negatively. Not a lot of people enjoyed it. Now, if you've seen the Guardian Takedown in Borderlands 3, you know that it's very, very similar to a Destiny-style raid. It even looks like Vault of Glass, except it's a far shorter version of it. It's soloable, and it all in all is kind of a budget-style version of Vault of Glass. I enjoyed it, but I know a majority of the community did not like it, and it was not received well. Another example of this is also how Chaos Chambers are in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. They're kind of like the Greater Rift system, where they're quote-unquote randomized. Loot is randomized, the curses are randomized, things like that. They're kind of preset randomized. The rooms are far smaller than what we were told, and the DLCs are also lackluster for Chaos Chambers. Now, Diablo system works in Diablo. I don't think it translates well into Borderlands, unfortunately to say. It's a great system when it's actually used properly and fruitfully in its entire state, but we kind of have a budget version of that. Another example is the Maurice's vendor, the black market vendor in Borderlands 3. Now, this is very similar to the Destiny-style system of the weekly Zur, who would be a vendor who would travel to different locations with a vendor and would sell you different legendary-style gear. Maurice's black vendor was very hit or miss in the times that it was there, including DLC weapons appearing for people who don't have DLCs. Also, the fact that it had really lackluster weapons in there that didn't even see a buff during the times that they were featured in there. Other times there were some really good items in there, which is like the Light Show, the Breath of the Dying, things like that. There were some really banger weeks. Unfortunately, there was more negative than positive, and it ended up not being received too well either, I don't think, especially during the disappointing weeks. You get my point. We've seen a lot of this in previous Borderlands games. We've seen it a lot in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. My point is that it's a byproduct of the community's feedback, but just a budget-style version of it, thus the decline of Gearbox. Now, I wanted to talk about the poll and comments that I've been seeing across other people's polls, and also some of my own, and just some feedback to kind of reflect what's been going on, because I know that a majority of people do not like how Wonderlands is going in the direction that it's in. Let's go ahead and talk to the community a little bit and see what they think. So here's just some of the comments that I ended up running into on the poll that I ran. What's your current thoughts on Tiny Tina's Wonderlands? Feel free to comment to elaborate too. In the 578 vote mark, We have waited on new content as the majority in 49%. 26% also said put it down and likely won't return. Currently playing it and loving it is also very close to being tied with just Show Me the Polls at 13%. This is kind of scary. It is a kind of a small pool of 578, but it seems very unanimous across multiple posts in the thousands. Let's go ahead and take a look, shall we? Waiting for new content that's more than another Chaos Chamber. Also, New Game Plus would be nice. Hope they do a second season pass and have a DLC similar to how Borderlands DLC was as side campaigns. Haven't played either DLC. I don't think I'm missing much. Back playing Borderlands 2, just wish the DLCs were actual storylines. Most expensive Borderlands 3 DLC story ever. Sat in matchmaking for 30 minutes, game up. The game is dead. After the story disaster that was Borderlands 3, I haven't had any interest in Wonderlands at all. Still playing and enjoying it, but hating how poorly the spells are balanced and not touching DLC until season pass is $5. You can see that there's a lot of people who are just upset and outraged with how it is, and most of them hit the same topics. DLC is too pricey. DLC is lackluster. DLC is not story. That sort of thing. Returning to other games. A lot of people are just resonating with the game is not in a good state. If you want to see this, I will post it in the description as well if you'd like to take your peek at it as well. But that's just what it is. Alright, and those are just a few of the comments that we've been seeing on that post, and it's still ever growing as well. As every single Thursday passes by with the lackluster hotfixes and patches, and also sprung DLC with no announcements until the day of. It's not looking too well for Wonderlands as of right now. I would almost say it's in the critical red stage. Now, I understand that Wonderlands is also a game where Gearbox is trying a lot of new things that they wouldn't try in the series, and I hear this a lot. However, I don't think it's right to charge a fully priced AAA style game price with 10-minute DLCs that are fully DLC prices that we would normally see for free in Borderlands 3. Now, I think Borderlands is having a, I don't know, kind of like an identity crisis, it seems like, where they want to try a little bit of everything in a game where, like in a genre they created back in Borderlands 1. We've seen really low success rate for Gearbox as a whole outside of Borderlands. So why would you try a system that is just failed for you in the past? You know, we've seen things like Battleborn. Battleborn got shut down. We've seen things like, God, what was that shooter game back in the GameCube days? That's been gone for God knows how long. And other games that Gearbox has worked on have just been produced, not actually made. So we haven't really seen a lot of large successes for Gearbox outside of the Borderlands franchise, which they're the kings of and what they create. So them testing the waters way too much is just a little bit crazy in my mind. It's the power of 3. You gotta do 33% new, 33% familiar, and 33% to change up the stylings of it a little bit. And we've just seen 99% new and 0% success. I really hate to say it. We've seen people like Jolt's Dude say that he was playing in the Borderlands 3 days during its decline, and he's not going to make that same mistake with Wonderlands. As in, he's just going to wait for Borderlands 4. Moxie at the moment, not playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, he's playing Division, he's playing Remnant from the Ashes, Outriders even as of the recording of this video. A6, moving back to Borderlands 2, which he's quite open about not liking too much. Was interested in the pre-sequel's Exodus mod. Borderlands 3. We've seen all of our giants of Borderlands also not interested in Wonderlands or pushing Wonderlands anymore. No one's really interested in the game anymore. I hope this changes around because we're all in the same boat, as in, if the game fails, we all sink together, but, like, this is not looking good at all, is what I'm trying to say. I hope around the 8-month mark it Borderlands 3's itself and actually get some really good DLCs going. I hope that these push the PLCs are just a future of like story DLCs and actual good DLCs. Though if they do boldly release a Season Pass 2 for this game, I would be extremely cautious in purchasing it, and I would say you guys probably should too. Look into it, read the words very, very specifically, because they seem to like their keywords very well, and will use that against us later on, it seems. You know, the whole DLC, PLC thing. And, yeah, it's just, let me know what you guys think. I'm really, really curious. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to toss a like, comment, sub on here. Once again, it does go a long way for me. I don't normally like making these kinds of videos because it's just sad, but I hope that we can get the changes that we've been looking forward to for quite some time. My name is Bflattened, guys, and I'm signing on out of here. Take care, all. Laters.